Welcome back. Let's talk some numbers now. And the president's approval ratings, they have fallen to an all-time low. That according to a new NBC News Wall Street Journal poll. Now, for the first time ever in the survey, even the president's personal ratings are upside down. But the anger definitely not aimed at Obama alone. The public's view of the Republican Party has reached not just a low, an all-time low in this survey since they've been conducting it as well. And a full 63% of voters, get this, want to replace their own member of Congress. That's the highest percentage ever recorded since they've been conducting this for more than 20 years now. And, you know, one of the things is usually they don't like Washington, but they like their own. Not any longer. And lastly, a high percentage of voters, they would vote for an independent or a third-party candidate for Congress. Again, numbers we haven't seen before. All right, Dominic, let's go through this one by one. The president, even if his approval ratings were down, people generally liked him. He's a hard person not to like, except for the fringe. No longer. Do you attribute that? I mean, it's a combination. You had Benghazi, then you had the government shutdown. He got blamed. He was in the mix. But then you had NSA and, more importantly, Obamacare. Is it a combination of those, or is it more his handling of them?
It's more a combination of Republicans have been throwing mud, and they finally got something to stick. So it's a combination of everything. But in my opinion, Richard, this president better be careful, because we are now talking about his legacy. You know, second terms are generally not good for presidents. That's why it's very tough in second terms and for mayors in third terms. But this president needs to walk a very fine line. He is now talking about his legacy. He is no longer that special politician that Americans put in office.
The one thing I think that's been different the last couple months, especially when we're talking about both the Obamacare rollout and then also NSA, is for the first time this president seemed absent. You know, his critics always called him aloof and whatever else. But unlike his predecessor, no one ever called him. He was always known as sharp. He always did his homework. He always did whatever. For the first time, it wasn't his fault, the Obamacare rollout. Then when it came to the NSA spying, he didn't know what was going on. We haven't seen an irate president, maybe a little bit today and yesterday. But I think he let it get ahead of him that it wasn't either his fault or he wasn't in the loop. Never good for a president. But if Republicans think, Dom, that they're in the driver's seat, we're talking all-time record numbers. The worst thing is, you said it this week, the best thing they can do for themselves, because they don't really have a message, it's get out of the way and just be quiet. I don't know if they're going to take that advice, but they've got a big problem on their hands as well.
They've got a huge problem. You know, coming into the midterm elections, I was saying to myself, conventional wisdom says that the Democrats cannot win back the House. The Senate is what's up for play. I've been saying to myself, the Republicans have botched this so badly that the Democrats might actually win back the House. But now, with the way that things are going for the president, I'm saying, wait a minute, the Democrats may not have a chance at all. But the Republican brand, it's like, how low can you go?
Yeah, the lowest denominator that they've gone to, which is the smallest part of the pie at the end of the day, which is the Tea Party, I think the regret, I just don't think they've figured out a way to get out of its way and to figure out to have a new course. And obviously got to figure out for next fall and then 2016. Finally, listen, it's a standard line. They all hate Washington, the public, but they like their own.
Right.
Not anymore. The amount of people, and people will call this a wave election, the way it's trending right now, that say, hey, I'll throw everybody out, including my own representative here, to send a message to Washington, and the willingness to go a third way. Now, I don't know if we'll see a third way. They always talk a good game, but the numbers haven't been this high before. People are so tired of the dysfunction, they'll do anything, it seems, to break the gridlock.
Well, you said it yourself. People talk a good game when it comes to a third party. Third parties are very expensive. And if you're talking about getting on the ballot, it can be extremely expensive. Just, I mean, I'm looking at the numbers that you have up, Richard. These numbers are just amazing. Because as you said, normally everybody says, throw the bums out, but keep my guy. Now they want their own person to go. And so what we've seen with third parties, even Bloomberg found it out when he was flirting with running for president, they're very expensive to get on the ballot in state to state. So who knows what's going to happen, but things are not good in Washington, all the way around the board.
All right, Dominic, thank you. We jump to a quick commercial break here, but before we do, I want you to weigh in at home on our question tonight, and that is what we've been talking about, these numbers here. Go to Facebook and Twitter and sound off. We know there's dissatisfaction out there, but just how deep does it run with you? Are you ready, and do you think this country's ready to go a third way here? Independent party, another party altogether, to break what is the monopoly of Democrats and Republicans here. Sound off, tell us what you have to say, and we'll get to your reaction in a coming program. All right, when we come back, we talked about, obviously, the breaking news that came out of New York, but there's also a case in our region that, for people who have been court followers, definitely raised more than a few eyebrows. Michael Skakel, the man on your screen, he'll be released from prison while he awaits a new trial for the 1975 murder of his neighbor. Will he be released? Well, that's an open question right now, but so many interesting questions surrounding this case. We'll get into that with our guest after this.